So, Hare Krishna, dear friends, devotees, how are you? Hope you all are good. So, may Lord Krishna bless us all. So, with prayers, let us start today's reading session. So, together we can chant Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। सो ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय हो। So we read the third verse from the first chapter, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra from Bhagavad Gita as it is. So let us read further few verses. So in the third verse we had seen that Vyudam Drupada Putrena Pashyatam Panduputranam Acharya Mahitim Chamum Vyudham Drupada Putrena Tav Shishyena Dhimataha. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So Duryodhana ji, he went to his Acharya, Dronacharya ji, and there he had explained about the arrangement, the wonderful arrangement of the military. You know, it was arranged in a wonderful phalanx by Dhrishtadyumna, who was also a student of Dronacharya, and we understood how he took birth to kill Dronacharya himself. He was the son of Drupada Maharaj. Then in the next verse, Duryodhana ji, is describing, is taking few more names. अत्र शूरः महेश्वासा, अत्र शूरा महेश्वासा भीमा अर्जुन समायुधिः युयुधानो विराटश्च द्रुपदश्च महारथः. अत्र शूरा महेश्वासा, महायशुवासा, अत्र शूरा महेश्वासा भीमा अर्जुन समायुधिः युद्धानो विराटश्च द्रुपदश्च महारथः. So three names, atra, here, shurah, heroes, maheshwasah, mighty bowmen, bhima and arjuna, sama, equal, yudhi, in the fight, yuddhana, virata, drupada, also Maharatha, great fighters. So Swami Srila Prabhupada is translating, here in this army there are many heroic bowmen. Heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yuddhana, Virat and Drupada. So perfect. Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, even though Dhrishtadyumna was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many others who were the cause of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory, because each and every one of them was formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them. So, Srila Prabhupada, Duryodhana ji is very much in anxiety, and he's trying to take all cautions. He's describing the names of the heroes who have taken the side of Pandavas, mighty bowmen like Yuddhana, Virat, and Drupada, and they all were formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada is writing in the Purport. And Drishtadumna, because first he mentioned the name of Drishtadumna, but Dronacharya was not a very big obstacle, because Dronacharya only was his teacher, and he himself was also equipped with all those military art and secrets what he explained to or trained Drishtadumna into, and as such he was not a very big obstacle, and Dronacharya was capable enough to defeat him or even kill him in the fight. But then there were many other fighters, who had taken the side of Pandavas, like Virat Naresh, Yuddhana, Drupada, like King Virat, Yuddhana, and Drupada, Mahabharata, and they all were great fighters, and equal in fighting. Duryodhanji is comparing them equal to Bhima and Arjuna. So Duryodhanji knew very well, and especially in terms of bowmen, it is explained, mighty bowmen, Maheshwasa. So they were equal to heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima, and they were all very great power. Their military art was as good as their military art was in fighting with bow and arrows. Astra and Shastras were as good as, so Duryodhana ji is mentioning, as good as Bhima and Arjuna. And they were, formidable and could become stumbling blocks on the path of victory. So Duryodhana ji is mentioning all these names. In the next verse, 5th verse, he mentioned few more names and of the heroes. So in the 5th verse he says, Drishtketuscha Chekitanah Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shabhyascha Narapungava. Drishtketu Chekitanah Kashirajascha Viryavan. So again he describes there are many other heroes like Drishtketu, Chekitanah, Kashiraja, Purujit Kunti Bhojascha, Shabhyascha, Narapungava. So Viryavan, Drishtketu, Chetikana, Kashiraja, they're all very much powerful fighters and great heroes. Narapungava, heroes in the human societies. Hero in the human society. So there are many other heroes and great powerful fighters who have taken the fight, who have taken the side of Pandavas in the fight, Pandavas and Lord Shri Krishna, and they could also be great stumbling block on the path of victory. So Duryodhanji is very much, he is narrating all these names to his guru, and who was one of the commanders in the army of Duryodhana, because he didn't wanted any kind of negligence or leniency in the fight, because it could lead to defeat. And somehow or other, we all know that Duryodhanji, somehow or other, he was very, very much, attached to the result of the war. Somehow or other, he wanted victory so that he could be enthroned on the kingdom, and all his enemies are vanquished in the war, and he could happily rule in future. So with these things in his mind, with these ideas, he is describing his Guru Maharaj the names of various fighters who have taken the side of Pandavas. In the next verse again he Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamojascha Viryavan. Yudhamanyu Vikranta, mighty. Vikranta, very big, mighty, powerful. So there is Yudhamanyu, who is Vikranta, and there is Uttamoja, whom he is describing Viryavan, very powerful, mighty, very powerful. Saubhadro Draupadeyascha, Sarvaeva Maharatha, Sarvaeva, all of them were Maharathis, great chariot fighters. Saubhadra, Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta, Uttamojascha Viryavan, Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarvaeva Maharatha. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. So Duryodhanji has described all the great fighters, and their names are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, just to give them a tribute, a homage, because they all have taken the side of all these heroes. They, by fighting from the side of dharma or religion or righteousness, they have actually they have inspired the whole human society. In one way, one can take learning that whenever there is a fight between if there is a fight on religious principles, if there is a fight on on dharma, then by taking the side of religion, these heroes have taken the sides of Pandavas and Lord Shri Krishna, and as such they have rendered devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna. And even if small devotional service rendered to Lord never goes in vain. Lord Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bhikrama Nashvasti Pratyavayo na vidyate. Neha Bhikrama Nashvasti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mehato bhayat. So all these soldiers, and we all know what happened in the war, except Pandavas and few other soldiers or fighters, warriors, everyone was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So even these mighty, powerful heroes, warriors, fighters, they died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but they, with that death, or with that leaving of the mortal body, they attained salvation, liberation. And for sure, because they had taken the side of religion, and Lord Shri Krishna himself was present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra on the side of religion, on the side of Pandavas. So for sure, these soldiers, these warriors, these heroes, these mighty, powerful, great heroes, they have definitely attained the supreme abode or supreme destination, supreme abode of Lord Shri Krishna. So that is the learning and that is the teaching of the scriptures, and that's what Swami Srila Prabhupada has always taught all his followers, to always chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord, to never, he has given do's and don'ts. So always try to remember Krishna, always try to engage in his devotional service by various processes of devotional service. And also he has instructed not to engage into any sort of sinful activity which displeases the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And always one should always try to move on the path of righteousness. One should always try to, adhere to the principles or instructions of the Vedic literature, and so we should also pray in our heart that may Lord, always we should never go against dharma or the will of the Supreme Lord while living in any body, at least in human body. All these because the reactions of those karma, and if one even we see, so if one has to die, we saw in Ramayana that Jatayu, when he saw that Ravana was taking Mother Sita, was kidnapping Mother Sita, he fought valiantly. And in that fight, he knew very well that Ravana is much, much more powerful than him, but still he laid down his life for dharma, for protecting Mother Sita. And as such, he also, he was blessed by Lord Ramchandra, and he attained the shelter of the lotus feet of, eternal shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Lord in his abode. So in the next few verses, we'll see how Duryodhanji will describe also the names of fighters who have assembled to fight from his side in the war. So in the next verse, 7th verse, we'll see Asmakam tu Vishishta ye. Asmakam tu Vishishta ye. Tan nibodh Dvijottama. Nayaka mam senasya sangyartham tan bravimite. Asmakam tu vishishtaye. Asmakam tu vishishtaye. Tan nibodh dvijottama. Asmakam tu vishishtaye. Tan nibodh dvijottama. Nayaka mam senasya aham mameti mam senasya sangyartham tan bravimite. Asmakam, our, tu, but, vishishta, specially powerful, ye, those, tan, them, nibodh, just take note, be informed, dvijottama, the best of the Brahmanas, Nayaka, captains, mama, my, sanyasya, of the soldiers, sangyartham, for information, tan, them, bravimi, I am speaking, te, to your. O best of the Brahmanas, Dvijottama, for your information, sangyartham, for your information, let me tell you about the captains, Nayaka mam sanyasya, who are specially qualified to lead my military force. So, Duryodhanji, Vishishta, especially powerful. O best of the Brahmanas, for your information, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. So, after describing the heroes and captains and soldiers and warriors of Pandavas army, now Duryodhanji is going to describe about heroes and leaders or captains of his army who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Asmakam tu vishishta ye tan nibodh dvijottama nayaka mam sainyasya nayaka mam sainyasya my aham mameti asmakam our, so me and mine, Swami Srila Prabhupada has also always described. So that is how one is being captured by the illusory energy. A person while living always thinks, and Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained several times, each one of us, we have lot of our false ego, which is not the right ego. Our false ego says that I have all strength, I have so many friends and powerful friends, well-wishers, who all will protect me, and I will live with them eternally happy here in this world. Truly speaking, everything in this world belongs to the Supreme Lord. Even we belong to the Supreme Lord. We are his property. But as it is said that the living iksha dvesha, so because of separate material desires, one has come to this world, and one thinks that in illusion, out of false ego, one thinks he can be independent. He can be independent, and he is powerful, he is intelligent enough to to live happily, eternally, without any without any interference or without any need of God in life. One can live happily, and that is described, the scriptures describe that as the fallen condition of the living entity or the spirit soul. So in the next few verses, 8th, 9th, 10th, Anyeshu cha sarveshu yatha stabhimeshu. So in the next few verses, 8th and 10th, 11th, so Duryodhanji will describe the various leaders of his army, those who have assembled to fight from his side. So in the next verse, 8th verse, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha. Bhavan, yourself. Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjaya. Kripascha Samitinjaya, always victorious in battle. Bhavan, yourself. Bhishmascha, grandfather Bhishma. Karnascha, Karna, the friend of Lord Shri Krishna. And Kripa, Kripacharya cha and Kripa cha Samitinjayaha, always victorious. Ashwathama Vikarnascha, Ashwathama Vikarnascha, Swamadhattis Tathaivacha, Swamadhattis, Ashwathama Vikarna Swamadhatti Tatha. So Bhavan Bhishma, Bhavan means Dronacharya himself, he is addressing to Dronacharya, yourself. So Bhavan, Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna, Swamadhatti. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 great warriors and his very dear servants and well-wishers, the names of these heroes, these fighters. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, Somadatti, Bhurishrava, who was the another name, the real name of Somadatti, Bhurishrava, who is the son of Somadatta. So the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Who are always victorious in battle. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Swamadhattis Tathaivacha. Swamadhattis Tathaivacha. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Swamadhattis Tathaivacha. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, Duryodhana mentioned the exceptional heroes. So these are all exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. The exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, Swamadhatti or Bhurishrava is the son of king of Bahalikas is the son of king of Bahalikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjuna and he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya married the twin sister of Dronacharya. So a little bit of history. Swami Srila Prabhupada from Mahabharata, he is describing here. So these various exceptional heroes, Vikarna was one of the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya, Swamadhatti or Bhurishrava was the son of Somadatta or king of Bahalikas. Karna is the half brother. Those who know about Mahabharata, Karna was born of Kunti and before her marriage from Pandu Maharaj, so she didn't reveal that truth to everyone, and of course they were not born, her virginity was always intact, and he was gifted from the ears, Karna was gifted Karna, that's why his name, from the ears of Narayana, Surya Narayana, and the sun god, and Kripacharya, Swami Srila Prabhupada mentions, was one of the acharyas, the Pandavas and Kauravas, and great Brahmana, and he married the twin sons of Dronacharya. So Duryodhanji is very much confident and that these exceptional heroes are on his side, and there is a great possibility, and that's why actually he only insisted for the war. So somehow or other, in his heart, he has that confidence that all his brothers and his soldiers and his army, and he even asked for the Narayani Sena, the army of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna himself, and with all these all this backup, he was sure enough, or he was very confident in his mind that he could get victory over Pandavas in the war, even though knowing well that the Pandavas were righteous, knowing well that with deceit, he took their kingdom, and he insulted their wife Draupadi. But even after doing all these things, he was very much confident on his material strength. Here it will be called material strength because Lord Shri Krishna is on the opposite side. Dharma is on the opposite side. So even though Dronacharya, Bhishma, Kripacharya, Ashwathama himself was a Brahmana, Ashwathama, Vikarna truly, when Draupadi was insulted, he criticized, he went against in that assembly. He spoke against Duryodhana, but still, when the fight was happening, so as his duty, he thought it is his duty to serve his elder brother, and he took the side of Kauravas or Duryodhana in the war. So all these heroes, though their names are mentioned, in the very first, and Duryodhana is also mentioning their names in the very first verse, because all these heroes in their life, in their own life, are righteous and religious. Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Bhishma Deva was a great devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. Ashwathama, a great Brahmana. Vikarna and Bhurishrava, they were all religious, righteous people in their own lives, but because they have taken the side of irreligion, because they have taken the side of Dharma, Krishna, जहाँ कृष्णा माया है अंधकार, and जहाँ कृष्णा ताहा नहीं माया र अधिकार. So dharma is actually, dharma has come from the Supreme Lord. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam, and Lord himself is the personification of dharma, and they are all going to fight against the Supreme Lord. So in one sense they are totally bereft of all good fortune, and inauspiciousness is waiting for all of them. Defeat and death is waiting for all these fighters, even though they themselves may be so-called good or righteous in their own life, but because they have taken the side of irreligion, so for sure these soldiers of these warriors will be killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Then in the next verse, 9th verse, Anye cha bahavaha, great in number, bahavaha. Anye cha bahavaha shura madarthe tyakt जीविता. देखिए, just see Duryodhana's pride, and he himself, how he is admiring himself, indirectly admiring himself. There are great number of heroes who can lay down their lives, tyakta jivitaha. Anye cha bahava shura madarthe tyakta jivitaha. Nana Shastra Praharna, Nana Shastra Praharna, Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha, Nana Shastra Praharna, equipped with Shastra, weapon, Nana, many types of, Anyacha, many others, Bahavaha, in great number, Bahavaha, Anyacha Bahavaha, Shura Madarte Tyakta Jivita, Nana Shastra Praharanaha, Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha, Anyacha Bahavaha, Shura Madarte Tyakta Jivitaha, Nana Shastra Praharanaha, Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha, Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha, Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha, experienced in military science, Sarve, all of them Yuddha Visharadaha, were very much experienced fighters and military science, and they all were Shuraha, great heroes, Shura, and they all were, so there were great number, there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. So there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down. So if heroes are ready to lay down their life, for someone, that means how much superhero he will be. If great heroes are ready to sacrifice or to lay down their life for somebody, that means that person is a. So in one way, Duryodhanji is, admiring himself so much. So that is the sign of false ego. Somehow or other, he has he has assembled all these heroes to fight from his own side. In the jungle we see a group of hyenas. They sometimes they form a big group and they challenge, and sometimes, if the time is not good, even they are able to kill the lion in the jungle. So, but lion is lion. He is the real hero. He is the king of jungle. And hyena, they're very much heinous. I think the heinous name hyena. They say, hyena. So dogs sometimes, a group of dogs together they challenge the lion. So Lord Shri Krishna is of course he is not fighting, but because he is there with the Pandavas, and that means Lord Narsimhadeva, Lord Krishna, who is none other than, so for sure, the victory. And we saw Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. So Pandavas, they were victorious in the battle, but Duryodhanji, he is thinking that all these heroes are ready to lay down there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, as far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma, Shalya, etc., all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. So Srila Prabhupada has mentioned few other names in the purport. Jayadratha, Kritavarma, Shalya, etc., all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of sinful Duryodhana. All of them will die in the battlefield of Kurukshetra for joining the party of sinful Duryodhana. So we should also understand that we should never, sangat sanjayate kama. In life, we should never, join the party of any sinful or irreligious person. By doing so, we all will also be, the way here Swami Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra. Satyameva jayate. Truth is always victorious. Dharma or religion or truth is always victorious. That is the Satyameva jayate. That is the injunctions of the Vedas. And Duryodhana was of course confident of his victory on account of the above mentioned combined strength of his friends. So Duryodhanji, he himself is very much confident of his victory because on account of the above mentioned combined strength of his friends. But Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing that it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So by reading all this, Bhagavatam and Ramayana, Mahabharata and Ramayana are also, Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained that they are the part of fifth Veda. These epic histories, Mahabharata and Ramayana, by reading them and one understands what actually happens, one learn the way of action and in how one should act in life. If we choose there also in the Ramayana we see many Meghnad, Kumbhakaran and all the great fighters, who took side of Ravana or sinful Ravana or the side of irreligion, they were all defeated and killed. So in life one should be very, very careful and cautious to always keep oneself on the path of religion or righteousness and to prevent any sort of calamity, any sort of inauspiciousness in the future. So in the next verse, 10th verse, Duryodhana ji is saying, aparyaptam tadasmakam, aparyaptam, immeasurable. Tad, that asmakam, of ours, balam bhishma virakshitam, aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma virakshitam, paryaptam, limited, abhirakshitam, perfectly protected, paryaptam tvaidam etesham, paryaptam tvaidam te etesham balam bhima virakshitam. Paryaptam, limited to, but idam, all these, etesham, of the Pandavas, balam, strength, bhima, by bhima, abhirakshitam, carefully protected. Abhirakshitam, carefully protected. Our strength is immeasurable. Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the, gives the translation. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Whereas the strength of Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma virakshitam, paryaptam त्वयदम एतेषां बलं भीमा विरक्षितम् पर्याप्तं त्वयदमेषतां पर्याप्तं त्वयदमेतेषां बलं भीमा विरक्षितम्. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by the grandfather Bhishma. Aparyaptam. Whereas the strength of Pandavas carefully protected by the Bhima is limited. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, herein an estimation of the comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specially protected by the most experienced general grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. So, Paryaptam tvaidam etesham. Paryaptam tvaidam etesham. Etesham. Paryaptam tvaidam etesham. Balam bhima virakshitam. So, Swami Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that in the purport that Duryodhana was very much envious of the Bhima, because he knew very well that if he has to die, if at all he should die, he would only be killed by Bhima. So he was very much and he knew very well that Bhima was nothing in front of Bhishma. So and because Bhishma Deva was on his side, so he was very confident of his victory, and he was ascertained. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. So Duryodhana ji is describing our strength is immeasurable as we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima. Bhima is a small, it's like a fig in front of Bhishma. Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that being protected by a less experienced, on the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited. Forces of the Pandava, the strength of the Pandavas is limited. Being protected by less experienced General Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. So Bhima is just like a, Bhishma was very capable to kill Bhima, and not only Bhishma, Kripacharya, Dronacharya, all those fighters were more experienced than Bhima in military art and were more powerful than Bhima and could kill him easily. But Bhima had taken a vow to kill Duryodhana, and Duryodhana knew this very well. If at all he would die, he would only be killed by Bhima. So he was very, very much envious of Bhima, and so here that's why he is mentioning that the overall strength of the Pandavas or the army of the Pandavas was less than his, because even the general of that army was Bhima, who was very much was very less experienced in military art, whereas Bhishma Deva and great other fighters, were who were fighting from his side, were much more experienced and powerful than the other captains and heroes or warriors of the Pandavas side. So his conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. So Swami Srila Prabhupada has always explained in his teaching that this is the position of a common man, of our own, each one of us, all of us in illusion, we think that we are living happily in this world, perfectly, protected by our mind, intellect, so much faith we have in our intelligence, in our ego, in our friends, in our well-wishers, in our relatives, that we all think that we are carefully protected and we are living happily and we will live like this forever, not knowing or neglecting Yudhishthir Maharaj when he was asked by one of the Yakshas, Gandharvas, Yakshas, when he was in Mahabharata, we have seen that he was, what is the most astonishing thing in this world? Then Yudhishthir Maharaj replied, Ahani hani bhutani gachanti yamalayam shesh thavram ikshanti kim ascharya matam param. Ahani hani bhutani gachanti yamalayam yam mandiram shesh thavram ikshanti kim ascharya matam param. Every day we see so many people, they're dying. All great heroes, powerful people, Alexander, this, that. In the history, if you see Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, either naturally or unnaturally, all the heroes, all the powerful people, all rich men, everybody, they have died. Ani ani bhutani gachanti amalayam. Every day we see many more people dying. Gachanti yamalayam, going to Yamaloka, Yamalayam, Yamandiram, the abode of Yama or Yamraj. So every day we see, but Shesh Thavramikshanti. Shesh Thavramikshanti kim Ashyaryamatam Param. Like how I close my eyes, I have an habit of closing. So those who are living, they don't want to see the death. They close their eyes like this. Swami Srila Prabhupada explains it is the philosophy of the owl. The owl don't want to see, he don't want to see the sun. And because owl is active in the night time, so the owl concludes that there is no sun. It concludes there is no sun, or it don't want to see the sun. Similarly, people, the thought of the death or the death itself is a very fearful thing in life, and nobody want to talk about it. So people closes or neglect or keep that subject matter totally aside, and they just think that we are living and we will continue to live like this. We are living and we are living happily, and we are able to manage things. We are able to somehow or other we are able to fight with all inconveniences, troubles in life, and like this we will be able to continue. We'll live eternally or forever like this, and we don't want to even discuss on the subject matter of death, what will happen at the time of death or after death. But like this, that is the mentality of each one of us. It is Duryodhana. It's not only Duryodhanji, it is the mentality each one of us. We always think, we never think, and we always think that we are always carefully. Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained innumerable times this thing in his lectures, conversations, in his purports. So each one of us should understand that life is not nitya, ashashvatam. It is not eternal. And one, by living, before one dies, one should make arrangement, it is said, by the process of sadhana bhakti. One should work for his own liberation, for his salvation, for going home, back to the supreme abode of the Supreme Lord, in his devotional service to get one's eternal body, eternal life. One should strive hard to purify his existence. How much Duryodhanji strived for gaining a victory in the war, if that much, if even if iota of that he would have struggled to get salvation or mukti, of course, because it's a religious war and Lord Shri Krishna is also present, and it is said, whoever saw Lord Krishna at the time of death, they attained mukti. They attained the abode of the Supreme Lord, Vaikuntha planets and other spiritual planets in the spiritual abode, in the spiritual world. So we all should be very, very careful not to, in our life get overpowered by our false ego and take wrong decisions in life and suffer because of those wrong decisions in future. So with this, I would like to stop this session here, and we'll take up more further verses in our next reading session. And I request you all to get the transcendental knowledge. We should associate with a pure devotee of Supreme Lord. These books are read by Swami Srila Prabhupada's books are read by his lakhs and crores of followers, and thousands and lakhs of followers, crores of followers. They have perfected their life by adopting the process of sadhana bhakti, Krishna consciousness in their life. And we can get, we should not waste whatever time we have in our life, or even if we don't have time, we should take out some time and devote it for understanding spiritual subject matter in association with a pure devotee like Swami Srila Prabhupada. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, as he said, he will never die. He'll always live through his books. So by reading his books, by reading his, by associating with him, through his Vani, we can get enlightened spiritually, and which will help us to move on the path of Krishna consciousness, on the sadhana bhakti marga. We will get strength, and it will help us, to bring the good fortune of going back home, back to Godhead, or perfecting our human birth by this means. So request you all to read Swami Srila Prabhupada's books, hear his lectures, hear his conversations, and try to chant and follow other regulative principles and of devotional life, and engage yourself as much as you can in your capacity in the service of the Supreme Lord, in the service of Vaishnavas, the devotees of the Lord, through the instructions and tat tat karma pravartanat, through the teachings and instructions of his pure devotee, Om Vishnupad Parahans Parivrajacharya Shro Shishmasmangi Sabacharnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai. So all glories to Dronacharya Srimad Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Holy Name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. May Holy Name, may Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, may Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, may Swami Srila Prabhupada bless all the sadhakas in their mission, and may everyone advance more and more in Krishna consciousness and perfect their human birth. So with this, we'll end this session. We'll take up more verses in the coming sessions. So ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, जगत गुरु स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय. हरे कृष्णा.